but we are keeping strong. A lot of people almost at their wits' end, because of the January complications. But I promise you, if you just hang in there, it will be over soon enough so that we can get back to managing ourselves. They've been giving us news upon news, very destabilizing news, if you ask me, from the hike in petroleum to the hike in coal cards and tariffs that is coming from the NCC. A lot has gone on. But again, other things are happening globally, especially with the inauguration of America's 47th president in the person of President Donald Trump. On Monday, one of the things he said he would put in place, of course, these were executive orders, considering that they hadn't gone through all their legitimate proceedings to make them policies, put there yet. But executive order, he says that the American people would soon enough stop to import oil, crude oil, and oil-related products because America itself is going to begin production and of course drilling and of course the whole thing. They're starting their own oil and gas industry this time around to commercialize, and they're looking to go big. And this conversation is going on the internet with Nigerians asking what this means for our oil and gas industry. And the only people who would benefit from what we've seen is probably the Nigerian people, because I mean the fancy of the oil and gas industry will probably do a drop if the American people are also selling. But that's a whole lot of politics. But this morning, let's look at the headlines and see what's happening around the country. Let's see what stories have made major news this morning. Let's start with the Daily Post. Nigerian government announces outbreak of anthrax disease in Zamfara state. I have read that this particular disease is caused by Bacillus anthrax. I don't know. Of course, it's new, but they are saying that it's dangerous and it's causing all this trouble in Zamfara. And apparently, humans can get it too. It can attack all kinds of warm-blooded animals, including humans, wildlife, horses, goats, and cows. And you can imagine regular warm-blooded mammals are at risk of this Bacillus anthrax, called the anthrax disease. Now, that's a new discovery coming from the Ministry of Livestock and Development, Nigeria. So they're asking people to watch out, asking people to be careful all over the country. Let's avoid another pandemic, hopefully. All right, moving forward, lawyers tackle National Assembly over proposed 5-year term for CJN and others. All right. Well, let's continue to move on. How Trump's policy will impact petrol prices and the Naira. This is coming from the CPPE. Okay. NNPC has jerked up the fuel price again, and that's how simple this is. Go and call your mommy. It's really that simple. Nobody is looking out for the interest of Nigerians. It's pretty clear. Nobody cares how the Nigerian people manage or cope. So that particular side of the story has been made quite clear by the people who are running things here. And of course, did you hear that they have also promised to send each of you 75,000 naira once again? It never ends. It's the same old thing, the same old process, same old stories, same old lies, being rotated over and over again. It's tiring. It's tiring. 75, like we're still doing this. And then we name a number of Nigerians and we say we're giving them direct money. I don't know anybody in this country who has ever received any of these monies. And that particular line of scam started since the COVID. They started saying we'll share 8,000, we'll share 12 to 25,000, we'll share. And then they're telling you billions of money. Money is going into these sharings, millions of money. billions compressed together, going into this sharing money to anonymous Nigerians who can never and they never and will never be identified. It doesn't matter where you go. But as far as Google is concerned, and as far as people who are looking out from the outside are concerned, Nigerians were paid 75,000 naira to help manage the bad economic situation in this country. Who knows how much they're telling them that we're being paid monthly to curtail the situation. It's very embarrassing, super embarrassing. The other day it was NEC who said they wanted to use 8 billion naira to sensitize Nigerians about how important it was for them to pay their NEPA bills on time, pay their electricity bills on time, purchase meters and purchase poles and purchase all of these things. Really? You need to tell us like you've ever given us anything for free? No, be honest. You've never given us anything for free. Just yesterday, the court refused the FRSC from having people renew licenses for plate numbers that they produced that had now disappeared. It's not visible anymore. The numbers are not on the cards anymore. It's all gone. So you're penalizing people for plate numbers that are not clear enough or don't have good quality, thereby they're going to wash away after a couple of months or years. You're punishing Nigerian people for not making a quality product that you sell to them. So when those plate numbers go bad, you hold them back and then you have them pay some fines, or you put, it's unimaginable, but you sold the plate number. So the court refused that they will get to penalize people for not renewing those plate numbers as soon as they expect them to. All right. I think someone somewhere should have some respect for us. I heard the last time you people made proper plate license numbers was in 2010. People who bought before 2010 have come out to testify that that was the last time you sold them plate numbers that were legit and could stand the test of time. People who said they purchased from 2010 up are saying that they have to go back and renew those plate numbers because you are going to penalize them for not having them. Other road agencies are going to hold them ransom for not renewing those plate numbers. But you sold them. Why didn't you make standard plate numbers that wouldn't just wash away? Why didn't you make laminated numbers that wouldn't just wash away? These are the questions. I hope that our people are taking note. All right, back to the Daily Post. Cybercrime. Immigration arrests 90 foreigners in River State. Moving on, Nigerian government announces outbreak of the anthrax disease in Zamfara State. I told you about this before. Back to the American news. LGBTQ. Trump gives deadline for closing of DEI offices and places workers on paid leave. He's serious. He's not playing. He's putting his foot down and he's making sure. Okay, Governor Alia warns people to leave Benue State if they are unhappy in case they intend to undermine him. Right? That's a stake of stance right there. Jigawa state government commences free education for female indigents. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate. All right. Yobe State Governor reviews LGA performances, urges focus on security development. All right. That's okay. Kwankwaso and Abba Yusuf do not have a political party, says Musa Nuhu Yankaba. All right, that's the much we should take from the Daily Post this morning. Let's see who else has something good that we can grab. We already opened up the Vanguard, so let's see if they're ready this morning, and let's hear what they've got to say. Crumbling opposition, politicians disagree on defections. You've not started disagreeing yet. This is just 2025. It's going to be very interesting by the time we get to 2026 and the campaigns kick off completely. We would see a lot of defections. There'll be a lot to look forward to in the next elections, all right? Fingers crossed. Moving forward, CBN vows to tackle buying and selling of Naira notes. Where are you going to start? Where are you going to start? I don't even know how you people let things get this bad. Greed, selfishness, self-centeredness has made us people that have no standard. It has made us people who are mediocre. We sell our monies at events, we sell our monies at clubs, we sell our monies on the streets. We're so low standard. It's very heartbreaking. We don't have any limits. We don't have any respect. We don't have any fear. Because here, there are no consequences. There are no accountability. We pride ourselves on knowing people. If you're able to know people who can manipulate the system, are you connected? Who do you know at the top? We have so shrouded ourselves in so much evil, in so much wickedness. We don't even know when it's wrong anymore. Like, we can't tell. It's like we don't know the lines between good and evil anymore, so long as we can walk our way around it. That has become the Nigerian way of doing things. Tackling the selling and buying of Naira, you might just not want to talk about it and actually get down to business if you really mean what you're saying. Because let me tell you, it's getting worse every day. People are selling monies in the most unbelievable places that you can think of. And trust me, like I've said, some of these behaviors coming out of here are not futuristic. And if I say it, you say we are futuristic. Tell me, what attitude? Tell me, what agency, what parastatal, what agency, what part of this country, what policy? Tell me. Anything in this country presently that is future-based, I promise you, there isn't. Some of you heard about Vision 2020. Some of you heard about the plans that people had for 2010. You could hear presidents who needed to achieve certain things, and we have lost our ability to think about tomorrow. We want to get rich now. We want to go on vacations now. We want to own estates now. The EFCC can seize 700 plots of land and properties in Abuja from an estate that is unknown and unidentified, from someone they probably are not willing to tell the Nigerian public about, because obviously those people are very special or very high profile. They don't deserve public humiliation or embarrassment. But you can report that is your biggest arrest in 1 year at one time. And you never tell us that you invaded people like this in the middle of the night because you needed to find out if they were the owners of these properties. You know, we really must be honest about how it's going. All right, it's okay. It's okay. We really must be honest how it's going. Young people are following the trend, but around here, the old are just used to talking. The older ones are used to speaking. It's like if you talk about it, it doesn't take away the behavior. It's like talking covers everything. It doesn't matter what I do, so long as I don't admit it with my mouth, then it's good. I can do what I want and then just make sure that I say something different. And that's what Nigerians care about the most. Nigerians care about what's being said. Nigerians don't necessarily care for actions, just so long as you're not saying anything that is triggering or offensive or something sensational. It's all about what's being said for us or who is saying it, not necessarily the actions, not necessarily the honest of the conversation. Well, I hope that the CBN tackles the whole selling and buying Naira situation the same way you said you were going to tackle the whole having us buy our monies back from the POS. You said you were going to sanction banks for not loading their ATM machines. Well, you just said it in the news. Nobody cares. The banks are still running the way they're running their businesses the same way they've always run it. Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's held accountable for anything. Mr. Cardoso can say whatever he wants, so long as he's just putting them out on dailies all around the country. And whoever they think needs this information, they're seeing it, and everything is okay. But the Nigerian people have really, really kept quiet. But I can promise you that shouting is part of liberation. You must talk. And the fact that we are not unified in our complaints sometimes is one of our most disarming sabotage. We can't stand in one voice. The day I come out and call the CBN out now, someone somewhere begins to say, but don't you think that POS has created employment? Are we crazy, really? Are we stupid? Are we that daft and stupid? Couldn't we have an arrangement? Couldn't there be plans and structures at the way things work? And by the way, of all the sectors and of all the things to do, POS should not be our bragging right as to one of the things that's creating employment in Nigeria. You people are not even doing it. It's not okay. Don't even think about it. Don't think of coming back at me with it because it doesn't work. That is not quality for education. It's not payment for anything. It's nothing. It's nothing. You can say that because you probably haven't sent anyone to school before, because if you have, you wouldn't think that is the best line of employment. You wouldn't applaud this madness. You won't applaud the fact that we're being extorted and it is bad and you have to depend on it every day. You cannot be happy with the fact that the things that are wrong here never stop. We just find a way to continue circulating it. It's people skull mining. It's happening. It's in the news, like in our investigated stories. There are like 2 or 3 stories about skull mining, especially in the Southwest. Are you keeping quiet that these things are okay? Or we can only just talk about the ones if it just happens to affect someone who is probably sensational, and then all of us talk about it and everybody dies back down and everybody goes back to normal. The whole EFCC conundrum. Yeah, everybody's gone back to normal. People lose their lives here. Everybody goes back to normal. We just talk and then just complain for a little bit, just so it doesn't look weird, so we don't appear to be wicked, we don't appear to be insensitive, and then we just dribble our way around it, and then everybody goes back to normal. And then we continue to tell ourselves that if we pray enough, we will be protected from a rotting system. We convince ourselves that if we are steadfast, I don't know what kind of steadfastness comes from the kinds of evil that's coming out of here. But I don't know what the mentality is, that if you pray enough, you'll be safe from a system that is not safe. I don't know who told you that if you prayed hard enough, that a system that is hungry will provide for you. I don't know who told you that if you prayed hard enough, a system where petroleum is sold for 1,200 naira will somehow favor you. I don't know who told you people that thing, because I heard some of you during the election, some of you swore that this administration, this government, this dispensation, what we're going through would work out for you and your families because your pastors and your religious leaders told you so. Now everybody's quiet and silent. And then, of course, the silent whitewashes are undergoing because, of course, campaigns are next year again. All of them are getting ready, including your religious leaders. They are all getting ready to roll out the ball, tell you what you need to do again, repeat your mistakes, try it again. Trust your enemies. Once more, let them finish you off. And then they will plot to install new enemies. Is it not time that the Nigerian people begin to think? Just a food for thought. All right. We're still on the Vanguard News this morning, picking stories up. Federal government alerts Nigerians over the outbreak of the anthrax disease in Zamfara. They are really, really singing this out. Look out, watch out, take care of yourself, wash your hands, protect yourself. Face masks and things like that, they are not for pandemics alone. They are for your safety. If you think you need one, please get one. If you think your environment is not safe, please find an option, find an alternative. Do something about it. Your health is very important. I don't know if you're aware how much healthcare costs in Nigeria right now. It's difficult to afford or access Medicare in this country right now. it costs an arm and a leg. You don't want to have your health in jeopardy. So please, however you might protect yourself, please go ahead and do that, especially the children. Wash their hands, disinfect their properties, their water bottles and things like that. Use a lot of hot water when you're washing. Vinegar is clean. A lot of people don't know about the use of vinegar in cleaning and hygiene. You might want to read up on that, how to incorporate vinegar in cleaning, especially for household surfaces and things like that. It will help to disinfect your environment and keep your home and your children clean. All right, think about it, read up on it. All right, you can also find more information on that on the internet as well. All right, let's continue to move forward this morning. Lassa fever. Nigeria reports 10 deaths and 54 people confirmed cases. All right, Lassa fever, 10 reports of dead people and 54 confirmed cases. Again, please look out and continue to be as clean as you can. As they say, cleanliness is next to godliness. If you keep your environment clean, trust me, you would avoid too many troubles. All right, BRICS membership is a bold step for Nigeria's economic progress, says Ude Ogaranya. All right, that's coming from him. That's his opinion. Trump says immigration authorities can arrest people at hospital and churches. It's serious. It's serious. And so many African leaders and Christian leaders across Africa is calling Trump's attention to his immigration cancellation of citizenship and childbirth citizenship and all of these immigration laws he's about to put into effect. Right? They are begging him to reconsider. They're telling him it's going to be a disadvantage to America. Are you really listening to that? Anyways, there's a lot of plea going out. But hey, what did you think a person who likes their country does? Think about it for a moment. If you love your country, what would you understand? You can see that most people around the world are happy with Trump's first move. From the day of inauguration, people are rallying around, but not in a devastating manner. Anyway, some people are devastated, but it's not the type that sends an entire country into a shutdown from the very moment you inaugurated. That's a very bad sign. It's a very bad sign. I hope that the President Tinubu's government will somehow, in its meticulousness, consider the people for a moment and see if the legend that they hope to create from this government comes to pass. So far, we are not happy. I can guarantee you that we are not happy because right there on the internet, it says that you pay us a 70,000 naira minimum wage. Talk about our reality. You barely pay 30. And of course, your government, Mr. President, has made us too many promises that he has managed not to keep, not even one. The only promises that the president has kept has been the ones he has made to himself and other people who are in said government with him, like increments and rebuilding of houses and purchasing of vehicles and making sure that these agencies get what they are supposed to get. Yes, the president has fulfilled those promises, but not one promise made to the Nigerian people has this government fulfilled. Let's talk to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Melvis.
Greetings to you.
Good morning, Vote FM. This is Charles from Africa.
How are you today, Charles?
I'm doing well.
You're welcome.
Well. And you?
It's all right. It's fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well. You say we are not happy. Nigerians have never ever been happy before. I can't remember when Nigerians were happy.
I don't think so. Calm down a little. Slow down a little bit. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Yaradua and the Yaradua time, right?
Yes.
Before President Jonathan completely took over in 2007, right? Do you think we were as miserable as we were right now?
Do you remember one song that Fela sang sometime? Suffering and smiling.
I just
You remember
smiled.
that one?
I just smiled. Don't worry. I just smiled. I just smiled right
What
now.
I said, Nigerians have always been suffering. The last sang that song, I think in the 70s or 80s, suffering and smiling. The difference between that and my name is that we are suffering and smiling, but now we are suffering and frowning. You know, so the pain has progressed, the suffering has progressed. So we have never been there. We have always been suffering. That I'm not being very honest.
Okay.
From the time I was small till now, we have suffering now. The reason that it still increases by the day. You know, when Obasanjo was president, Nigerians have depicted the happiest people on earth.
But Charles, it sounds like it sounds like we have resolved that. This is the way forward. It sounds like we're okay with it. Are we okay with it? Let me find out from you. Do you think we're okay with the situation?
No, it can't be okay with suffering. I said we have gotten used to the problem. We have gotten used to it. Because during Obasanjo's era, like I said, we are suffering, but we are the happiest people on earth.
I heard.
Nigerians are the happiest people. During Obasanjo's era, I'm talking about 2007, 2006, 2005, during that period.
2005, yeah.
We are the happiest people on earth, despite their suffering. You get? But what has changed now is that insecurity is now on board. Insecurity. The killings. We are not dying then the way we are dying now.
Yes.
That's the difference now. Because somebody can wake up one day, see your radio and hear that 40 were killed there, 70 killed there, 100 were killed there. So the thing has now brought depression. I saw a report sometime in 2019 that said 1 out of 4 Nigerians are mentally sick, or even for the fact they don't get mad by ABU. That report came out from ABU. And one of the main causes of that mental illness was terrorism. That was the first cause of it. This was not happening before. So the leadership should be held accountable because their first responsibility is to protect lives and properties. But if you're talking about suffering, we have been suffering all this while. We have been suffering for ages. But we Nigerians, I mean, you know, in Nigeria we are survivalists. You know what do you mean for someone to be survivalist? Whatever comes our way, we have to find our way out.
Yeah.
Nigerians have, you know, fighting spirit, die-hard spirit and all that. But the issue now is the security issue. You come to the southeast, we are not secure. The kidnapping, the unknown government, the bandits, the Boko Haram, ISIS, that's the main issue we have now. So we need a president that will nip it in the bud. In talking about the issue of sharing money, that is sickening. You know, this 75,000 naira thing.
Yeah.
But it was right as been made it open. I know when I comes in, they will tell you that this guy was selling money 2 weeks to election of Osibanjo. Once he caught trader money, was giving people 10,000 naira in the markets. That's a shame. That is how we have tolerated sharing money to people. And then how many Nigerians are they giving the money to? Because I am very, very sure that many Nigerians don't even have bank accounts. It's only in cities, in any good day that you have. Go to most places, they don't have bank accounts.
It is true. Even, you know, with the cashless, even with the cashless policy.
In Soka, and maybe the places that look like towns in Enugu. But go to those places in your villages in Enugu, they don't have bank accounts. So how do they get this 75,000 naira? So
but wait, Charles, you're talking about people who don't have bank accounts. Who has bank account? Who has received the money? Forget the people who did not have bank accounts. The people who have bank accounts. Have anybody received the money?
I've not received those.
Now think about it.
But I know that
before you go to the rural area, or let them give the people with bank accounts first. Let's see. Let's see about
the
that.
The whole thing is sickening. So we just need to look for a way support ourselves the security issue. That's number one. Problem I know we have now.
Security.
I knew when I used to go to Maiduguri freely and all that. You get?
Yes.
I've lived in Jos. I knew when I used to call in the night in Jos. You can't do those things now in Jos. You can't go to Maiduguri freely now. You know, I know I'm talking about these 2 towns. I know them very well. I know very, I really know where. These places are just peaceful. But those places, we are no longer enjoying that peace now. you know, and let us go back to suffering and smiling, not suffering and frowning that we are into now. They will not take it from there.
Okay. So you're saying they should take it back to suffering and smiling, not suffering and frowning.
Frowning. You get?
I need to tweak
Let us
that.
take it from there because
it's not asking for too much.
happy.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
People are not happy.
It's
now.
like you
People are
would
not
do
happy.
very
I'm
well
telling
at
you.
business negotiations. This is very good.
People are not happy. People are very aggressive now.
Yeah, that is true.
Try
That is true.
to someone does a little job for you. Try and tell him, okay, tomorrow,
You're likely to get punched. Nigerians are agitated.
You will tell you what. I want to people are very aggressive now. They are very angry. All sorts of things now. So let us get security first. Then we'll now need to talk about it. All this saying of money is not what we need. You get?
Yeah.
We need the money. It's not like some vital is not good for me now or for you. We need it, but let us do the basic thing. Let us count one before we count two.
In the show, you can also join the conversation this morning. A hungry man tends to be, easily prickled. There is a more chance that someone who is hungry rather, would be more angry and more inclined to be, impolite, cause a few wahala here and there, which we have seen triple even in the country. People are reacting, people are angrier, people are sensitive, people are prickly. Mental health in this country is going down really low. Good morning to you. You're welcome. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
You're welcome, Vin Martins.
Yeah, you mentioned about the outbreak of anthrax in Zamfara.
Yes, anthrax.
And then the name of Lassa fever somewhere else as well.
Yes.
That's a serious problem.
Lassa fever.
The state ministries of health and military should rise up and challenge. And that's why I would see this forum to beckon on Trump to reverse the withdrawal of BSA from the World Health Organization. I think the withdrawal will not help the Latin countries. Then the Jigawa State giving
Mr. Vin Martins, yeah. I like for you to explain your line of thoughts to us so that we can understand. Why do you think Trump's withdrawal from the WHO would affect something like this anthrax disease that we have in Zamfara State, for instance, now?
We know we are just developing country. Even floods. Control flood. When people to even control flood.
We can't control flood.
When there is look at the fire outbreak in California. Am I right?
Yes, California.
The wildfire. As big as America, they could not even. So it's very difficult to handle. As big as America. Imagine if that kind of incident happened in smaller countries like Africa, the devastating effect.
That particular fire, that thing happens like almost yearly, and they have professional fire starters. The white people seem to have a craze around them. And also with that environment, they build houses with wood. Would you believe that in fact, all of the houses that got burnt were all made of wood? They wouldn't use concrete. They wouldn't use blocks like we do here.
Yeah.
The one building that was saved was built in concrete.
Yeah, that's it. So what I'm trying to say is that there is need for America also to give helping hand, not just withdrawing totally. Can give helping hand anyway. That is my own stake here.
Okay.
Then on free education on Jigawa State is very commendable.
Yes.
I think I have identified two problems confronting Nigeria. One is our electoral process, and two is our educational system.
Yeah.
By the time we get our electoral process right, get the educational system right, Nigeria will start moving.
I agree.
Yes. Even when you look at the educational system, even presently, even the selection of DCs in various Nigerian universities is like quite a net process, litigations and everything. By the time we get the educational system right, get the electoral process right, Nigeria will be sound and kicking. That is my own take there. So I commend Jigawa State government for giving free education to senior students, just like I commended the governor of Ebonyi State for sending people on free education in abroad.
Yes.
Thank you and God bless you.
God bless you too, sir. I commend Jigawa State government as well. And I also agree with Mr. Vin Martins absolutely about what he said about our education system needing reforms. This really made me sad yesterday. I heard a little girl who was talking, they were reciting something probably that was taught in school. And the little girl said that their teacher said that nurses were women and doctors were men, and as simple as that sounded, it made me think we were still teaching our children this in 2025. We're still limiting opportunities. I can't believe it's not about anything. It's just the fact that we still have to genderize careers, even in 2025, and we're teaching it to little children who are coming up, especially with all of these opportunities that the world has to offer to anybody. I just think that so many things around here need to be, I don't know why we are so hell-bent on clinging on to very old ideas. I don't know what it does for us, but it's not moving us any forward, right? All around the world, children are doing all manners of things, and we're still teaching our children how to be limited. I hope that the limitations are reduced by people looking into what is really being taught to our children and see if it is standing up to what's being made available to the world. Probably that's why the politicians and people with a little bit of standing are sending their children out of the country to get educated instead. I don't know why Africa loves to limit herself. Why don't you reform our education system and have these schools teach them those things that you have your children go to the UK to learn? We're mean to each other. We're mean to ourselves. You don't want to reform the education sector. You don't want to reform the legislative. You don't want to reform anything. So it's easier for you to get Medicare from India, easier to get Medicare from Saudi Arabia. Go to the UK and get Medicare there. Send your children to the best schools in the world and continue to lavish and languish what you have. We have no respect for ourselves. I'll continue to say this. It doesn't matter. Getting monies and sending whoever you need to send out of this country, eventually, this will still be home. Yes, because some of you encourage yourselves with the ideologies that when you make enough money, you commit enough evil in this country and make enough money to send your children to give them the kind of education you believe they require or they deserve. But down here, we are not building a system that sustains us or a system that can sustain us, because what do you mean we're still teaching our children that? Who does that? When children, have you seen what people are teaching the Chinese people that you like to talk about so much? You talk about how innovative they are, how you're building strong business ties and you hope to get investment deals from China. But you will not build your standard to be at that level. Have you seen what Chinese children in kindergarten are doing? And here you're teaching our children who can be a nurse and who can be a doctor in 2025. I can't believe us sometimes. Anyways, the phone lines are still open. We have barely 10 minutes before we run it over this morning. 0706-048-5853. You can also call 0915-570-8347. And the teachers, you must take notes. You must take note. You must take note. You must hear what is happening around the world. You must be aware. I'm sure you're aware. I don't know if you need to change your curriculums. I don't know what you need to do, but you all need to sit down and get to thinking, because we cannot have this in 2025. We are going to these PTA meetings. We're breaking it down. We cannot continue to raise people who don't have an option. We cannot continue to raise people who don't have a choice in our country. We can't do that. We must equip our children. The world is not a joke. Now we have doctors in Nigeria who have to do side hustles as well. Do you know how terrible that is? So after the job separations, you still need a side hustle, even if you're a doctor or a nurse. It was on the internet yesterday that you're paying fresh nurses in Nigeria 40,000 naira salaries. It is true. It is true. You're paying private sector. You're paying fresh nurses in Nigeria 40,000 naira. You devalue education. You diminish anything that's worth merit in this country. You only reward evil. You only reward crime. You only reward fraud, embezzlement. You reward people who are of questionable characters and people who work hard. Hard-working, honest Nigerians are dealt with wickedness every day. They can't eat. The money's in their pocket. You keep pinching it and stealing and chopping, and you keep pressing and pressing and pressing. But when it's criminals, you observe all due protocols. When it's criminals, now the law works. When it's dangerous people, oh, now you don't know how to find people in 24 hours. But let me complain that you're misbehaving. Let me complain that you're not paying attention to a particular sector. Now you can find me. You just close your eyes and you can find me. I'm just asking, if the place is working, would it be so terrible? I know while you're thinking and nodding, oh, we're watching, we're doing this, we're doing that. I'm just asking you from the very good part of your heart, if you do have any, is this working out for you? Do you really like it? Outside what you think you have stolen and kept aside for your children and the people coming after you, is this really a system you want them to be in? Do you want people to jump into their homes in the middle of the night, where their children and families are trying to rest for the night? Do you really want a country where you cannot take a drive, you cannot take a walk, you can't take a stroll, because there's always someone who is willing to harm you? A society that is very unsafe. Let's talk about it. Is that really what you people want? If it is, then I must tell you, you've done very well, because that's what we have now. But if it is not, if the state of Nigeria is not the vision you really had for it, if how we're doing is not really how you intended for us to be doing, I think you would act differently. I think you would decide differently on what to do. But if what we have going on is exactly where you wanted us to be, then I must congratulate all of us, because I can say we are doing well when it comes to how terribly we're doing. We're doing absolutely terrible. That's very good. All right, let me just read you a few stories from the investigated stories so that you don't miss it before, because tomorrow there'll be fresh stories to cover up what I just told you. All right, there'll be fresh news to suppress what you just heard. So even if whatever you heard today comes to pass or not, there'll be fresh ones tomorrow. So let me catch you up on the rest of them, so that you just bear in mind, you'll be witnesses to your own destruction. Yeah, I will read them. You can close your ears, you can switch off, you can go somewhere else and listen to something else a little less distracting. But the truth is, this is you. This is you. Everything they're doing is going to affect you. And it's not just stories, it's not just men talking and yapping about. It's people conditioning your life. That's what politics is. Let me just put that out there in the open so that everybody knows. All right, strong news. Wike has reiterated, as he has said before, that he is not an Igbo man, so that the rest of you can take your agendas to wherever you need to take them to. But he has made very strong declarations on the Daily Post. This news happened just yesterday, so it's been one day old, where he has said he is not an Igbo man. So this is for everyone to know. The Ogun State Community and Social Orientation and Safety Corps, otherwise known as SoSafe Corps, has apprehended a 54-year-old Adelani Oriyomi at a burial ground in Kere Ubada Oko, Abeokuta, Ogun State, while allegedly attempting to exhume a human skull. Talk about mental illnesses once again. All right, from the Sahara Reporters, I found Nigerians must demand reforms to electoral Act before 2027 elections, says Dele Farotimi, and I agree with this gentleman completely. He is saying something that Nigerians need to take into consideration. All right, also from the Sahara Reporters, NAN's presidential candidate accuses Tinubu's son, Sheyi, of convening secret meetings to rig elections in favor of a Yoruba candidate. And we're just in 2025, just in case you still don't think it's serious enough for you to pay attention. All right, planned telecoms hike will help reduce inflation, says Rewene. Telecoms tariff hike will help reduce inflation, says you can't make these things up. Like, you really can't. I don't know, but you have to be under some sort of influence to say some of the things the Nigerian elites say. Something has to be going on in your mind. Something has to be going on in your head to be able to say these things. They're so unintelligent. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand. Did you think about that? Or you just said that because it sounds good? Do you talk to Nigerians because it sounds good? Or do you really, really say these things because you believe them to be true? Which is even more, which is worse. We have more problems if you people actually believe yourselves when you say these things. It means we're in a lot of trouble if you believe this. It will reduce inflation. Oh, all right. All right. Don't take my word for it. Residents have rushed to scoop groundnut oil as another tanker overturns in Niger State 3 days after 98 people were killed in an explosion. This time around, they'll say it's not petroleum. It's groundnut oil. But you know what? Nigerians still gathered. Because I'm wondering how much all of them are going to get out of it. But hopefully, we're not endangering our lives by ourselves. It's enough that our roads are not safe, our farms are not safe, Boko Haram, and all of that. But we must not be the weapons fashioned against ourselves. All right. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has identified the killer of its assistant superintendent, Shahabi Salisu, as a kidnapper and a ritual killer who was posing as an internet fraudster. That's coming from the EFCC this morning. Also, the EFCC is to unction over 850 cars seized in corruption, money laundering, and other cases. This particular headline, someone reacted to it and said the auctions, they sell to themselves and then resell back into the market. It's not necessarily for the Nigerian people. Have you ever bought any of the cars being auctioned by the EFCC? Do you know anybody who has ever been able to access those vehicles at those auctions? That's a food for thought. Also, the Spanish version of the White House website and the White House Spanish Twitter account has been deleted. He's very serious about the immigration situation. It's not just black people. Mexicans are in it. Asians are in it. A lot of people are in it. Yes, you want a man who is steadfast. I think you're getting one now, and that's what people who are serious do. They begin to clean up the environment. That's what serious people do. All right. I also have to tell you that, okay, we'll give Tinubu more than 100% votes in 2027, says Edo State Governor Obebolo, who insists that the residents of Edo State are very happy with his government. You will think that since this guy's inauguration, he would just get to work and begin to try to fix Edo State, but no, he has other distractions. But hey, that's how we function around here in this country. I will see you again tomorrow morning. Let's review the news, talk about the stories that are coming out from our country by the day, stories that structure and enforce the qualities of our lives. We will continue to review these stories. We will continue to talk and to scream until someone finally hears our voice and does what is right for one time. But while you're out there today, please, I want to ask you to be good to yourself and try to consider your neighbors as well in your actions today. All right? My name is Mavis Atudume. Try to have a good day today. All right? Good morning to you.